Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Abhilash Gupta and you're listening to Podcastation episode number 0. Let's get started. Starting with the podcast. First of all, I just want to state my current situation because guys, I feel so weird recording with a pile of pillows around fortified around me and a blanket over my head. And all this I have done to muffle my voice. As you see, my room is pretty big and its walls and floors are flat. There's no carpet or any rugs hanging on the floor. So the voice echoes and bounces off the wall, which is a pretty unnecessary effect. I don't want that echo effect. So I have to use this weird setup and it's so hot right now. But guys, anything for you, anything for YouTube. I'll do this every time I record a podcast just so the voice quality is good and you get to hear a good quality podcast. Starting off with the podcast, don't you think topic is quite ironical? Because in a podcast, I should be telling why you should start a podcast rather than why you shouldn't start a podcast. Because I'm making a podcast about why you shouldn't start a podcast. And no, I'm not gonna give you any reasons why you shouldn't start a podcast. Instead, I'm gonna criticize the reason that are there for not starting a podcast. So why don't we get started with it? The first reason that I have read on so many blogs, so many blogs, is that because everybody is doing it, you shouldn't as well. And it kind of makes sense because everybody is doing it. You cannot think that you are going to be a pro at this and you might not have the guts to do it. But that's completely wrong because people get inspired by other people, and people when they look at other people's success, they are also encouraged to do the same and they get inspired by them. And it's not a problem if everybody is doing it, you shouldn't as well. I mean, one dinosaur cannot ask another dinosaur, if I eat another dinosaurs, why do you eat? Because I'm doing it, you shouldn't be able to do it. And I think that's a pretty dumb reason. And now I know that the word is dumb, but I like to call it as dumb because it sounds more comical and weird. Going off to the next reason, it's my favorite. This is my favorite reason, guys. Because you can, you shouldn't do it. Guys, literally, it makes sense. It makes complete sense. If you can eat food, you should eat food. If you can record a podcast, you should not, according to the blog. If you can bathe, you should not bathe because you need to be dirty all the day. If you can kill someone, you shouldn't do it, which you probably shouldn't. And if you can poop, you shouldn't poop. I think you should do that because then all day you'll be feeling poopy, and I don't want to be responsible for your feeling of poopiness. So yeah, I don't want to do that. And this reason, guys, doesn't make any sense to me. It literally doesn't make any sense, and I'm not making this stuff up. If you check in the description, I have the link to two of the blogs that I have collected my information and the reasons. And the reason why I only chose two blogs because I mean, guys, I searched it on Google and I found many blogs, and these were the two best blogs because other blogs had the same reasons, but not they were not quite efficient or they were not quite, you know, good to put in a YouTube's video description, especially my video, because my video is $1 million video. Billions of dollar has gone into production of this video, and you do not want to know how many billions. Actually, it's zero. And guys, these are the and you can read everything that I say here. I mean, I'm not reading it from a computer scheme or anything, but you can see the points that I state in my podcast. So moving on, and not moving on to the next reason because I have to explain this reason. I have to get my criticism to this reason, and it's important, guys. What I found when reading about this reason was a little comical, comical in the way, humorous, hilarious, cracked me up pretty much. Not literally, of course. It's a sense for all you robots out there. The thing that I found was it giving the reason because you think you are gonna do it, because you think you're gonna be a millionaire in one night by making podcasts, which is not possible by the way, but whatever. And the thing that I found hilarious was it it giving the reasons on such a stupid point that if you can do a thing, you shouldn't do it. Just because you think others can succeed in this and others have succeeded in this, you should not imitate them and do the same thing. I mean, most people aren't even imitating others because most people do not listen to other people's podcasts except a few because they start their own podcast and do the talking. I don't think anybody copies anyone else in the podcast because leaving a few who are super lazy and do not want to do anything, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. Hats off to all the guys out there that are lazy and still make money. I mean, it's the hardest thing to do in the world. You have to do hard work for making money. Okay, how did this video turned into a inspirational video from a comedy video? Can someone please explain it to me? Moving on to the third reason, we have the legendary reason from the legendary blog. Its name was, please, please, for the love of God, just leave the idea of starting a podcast. There was this guy, John Harbinger. I'm not really sure about his name because I do not have anything open in front of me from where I can read it. I know that's pretty dumb a thing to do, but yeah, it is what it is, guys. Let's move on. So he's a big podcaster himself. I have not listened to any of his podcasts. Anyways, moving on. And he was brave enough to say in a conference that people should not do a podcast now. It might be raising. It might be raising some rhetorical questions like, is he trying to reduce his competition? And guys, yes, this was the question that arose in my mind the first. Is he trying to reduce his competition? Is he trying to discourage people from doing the things that they can succeed in? And I think all the blogs that are out there giving the reasons for you shouldn't do this or that are pretty much discouraging you or reducing their competition because they don't want you to succeed. How is this video turning into an inspiration video from the comedy bit? I do not understand, guys. I really do not understand. This is all happening because of a spermware in my phone. What the flip did I just say? Replay that. Spermware in my phone. Guys, I literally said that. I cannot imagine. I swear I'm never gonna use spermware word again. Oh, I said it again. Never mind, moving on. So guys, I mean, this cracked me up a lot because I was searching for ideas for podcasts because I was brainstorming, and when I was about to lose all hope for doing the podcast and searching the ideas for it, I came across this solution. Why shouldn't start a podcast? And I was like, man, I gotta read this topic and I have to make the podcast for it because it's a pretty dope topic. And I was like, man, I have to read this topic because it was a pretty dope topic to do for the first episode of the podcast. It's not actually the first episode, it's the 0th episode. And guys, I mean, this is the end of this madness and darkness of the human nature. Okay, this is becoming an inspiration video. Hashtag comedy to inspirational. I'm so bad at doing this. Just guys, comment down below if you want to see an improvement, or just comment down below if you want to speak your mind out. I know there are some people who are going to criticize me, or there are some people who are never going to comment on this video. I don't care. Actually, I do a lot. So I care a lot about your suggestions and any ways I can improve my podcast, and I'll be sure to read them. I'll be reading the comments and I'll be responding to some of the comments. It sounds like comments. And don't forget to subscribe and like, and do share this podcast with other people if you found this comedy come inspirational. And because I had been there and turning this video inspirational the whole time I was doing it. And it's not really a video, it's a podcast in the video format. I don't know what I'm saying right now, guys. I'm gonna take my leave. I will be posting my podcast on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so be sure to expect my podcast as Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And there might be some weeks where I'm not follow the schedule. Just one or two. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I won't be following this schedule. And right now I'm dripping with sweat, so I'm gonna take my leave. Stay calm, stay tuned, and make everyone else happy. Peace.